This is Kathy Coffin for Access ATV. We're here tonight with Jerry Oney, President of the Port Jervis Volunteer Ambulance Corps. The Ambulance Corps annual fund drive is the month of May. I'd like to introduce Jerry Oney, President of the Port Jervis Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Thank you for coming down and talking to us. Welcome to Access ATV.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I'm really happy to be here and excited to have a chance to speak to the people of Port Jervis and the surrounding area on the Port Jervis ambulance and the issue of the fund drive in May.
How many years, Jerry, has it been that the Corps has been in service for our area?
The Port Jervis ambulance started in 1958. It was originally called the Port Jervis Lions Volunteer Ambulance Corps. So we're in our 31st year, 31st, I believe, year of service this year.
31 years, that's a lot of time. Where did you get your first ambulance from? Was it donated?
Yes, matter of fact, Art Gray was kind enough to donate the first ambulance to the Lions, and we've come a long way since then. That was one. He gave us, he donated an ambulance in 1958, I believe, and currently we have 3 ambulances in service.
Are there any members still active that organize the ambulance corps?
We have a couple. Jim Crawford is a charter member. He is still active, runs calls every day. And Paul Hess is a charter member who sits on the board of directors.
Jim usually takes a lot of daytime calls, doesn't he?
Yes. We're very fortunate we have Jim and a few others who make themselves available to take calls during the daytime.
That's very good. Do you still solicit door-to-door?
No. A few years ago we went to a mail fund drive, bulk rate mail, where I've come up with a letter, a brief letter to the public, telling them a little bit about the ambulance corps, how many calls we run, that it's our major source of income is this fund drive. We have no funding from the state or local government. It's the people in the area that we service donating to us that keeps us going. And that starts next week. First week of May. We'll have the letters out, and hopefully people will get them, be concerned enough to donate a membership. An associate membership is $10, and that money is used directly for funding of ambulances, equipment, which equipment is very expensive, and for training and updating our level of care and providing the service that the community really needs.
They can just send in their donations?
Yes, we have, anytime anyone wants to donate to the ambulance corps, you can just send it to the Port Jervis Ambulance, P.O. Box 133, Port Jervis. During this fund drive, we send a letter with a stub at the end. If you're interested in donating, you can fill out the form, send it back to the ambulance with your contribution, and we'll send you back an associate sticker with a receipt thanking you for your patronage, and that you can display in your window or on the car, your bumper, saying that you're an associate member of the ambulance corps.
Now, is there a number that they can use to, dispatch for an ambulance?
The number in our area is the Port Jervis Police Department, which is 856-5101, or if you're in Pennsylvania, you can call the Milford Com Center, which is 491-7700.
No, it's 296-7700.
Excuse me, 292-7700.
That's all right.
At either rate, the dispatchers will call Mercy Hospital and will be dispatched to the call.
Okay. What information should a person give to the police to request an ambulance?
First of all, someone should identify themselves, identify the fact that they need an ambulance and for what purpose. Make sure you know exactly where you are when you call. Some people excited could run into a neighbor's house. Just tell them they need help and give them their own address, which may not be right at that area. So make sure you know where you are when you're calling for help. Tell the operator what kind of emergency it is so the operator can decide what kind of emergency people that should be sent, whether it's a car fire with injuries so that the fire department, the police department, and the ambulance would respond, or if it was just someone who was found unconscious. They wanted the police department and the ambulance, but they should be as specific as possible and give them a callback number so that if there is a problem, if it's in town, it's usually very easy to find. We service the surrounding area. We have a 12-mile radius, so we go up 209, 42, and over into Montague, as well as going to Westfall Township. Some of the places aren't easily accessible as others, and we really don't know sometimes where we're going to end up. So if a person can be specific about where they are and what the nature of the problem is, so we have an idea of going in what we have to do and how many people we have to send.
All right. Well, you want them to give the name of the road or a box number if it's on the box outside the house.
Yes.
But no RD numbers.
No, the RD numbers really don't help.
They're good for the post office, but that's about it,
right.
correct?
If it gets specific enough that you can say the fourth house past John Doe's red barn on the right on this road, that's great, and that's how we respond to a lot of calls.
So if they put the phone number down on their phone to dispatch for an emergency and their address next to the phone, they shouldn't have any problem, should they?
No, just dial the phone, the 5101 or the comm center number, tell them the type of emergency that you're experiencing, where you are, and what your phone number is. And the ambulance or the appropriate emergency response will be contacted.
Because a lot of people, you know, they get excited. They wouldn't even know their own phone number, no less than emergency number.
Right.
It's happened very much.
We're not fortunate enough, although it's in the planning, to have a 911 system. Some of the bigger areas dial 911, and it's automatic that the people know that where you're calling from. You tell them what's going on, and they have an automatic plan as to who goes where and what teams are sent. That's a very expensive system, and it's in the works. It's in the planning stages, and hopefully down the road we'll have a 911 system.
That'll be a lot easier.
So it'll be a lot easier for anyone in Westbrookville or downtown Port Jervis to pick up the phone, dial 911, and have emergency response.
I believe people shouldn't hang up their phone either until the dispatcher gets finished with all the information.
That's true, and being a dispatcher,
Correct.
you're very well versed in that, and that's true. They'll call and give half a message and hang up before the operator or dispatcher has a chance to find out where they are and what is going on. Then there's no chance for a call back. If the ambulance gets out there and we're not quite in the right location due to bad information or hurried information, the operator or dispatcher can't call back and say, okay, now calmly tell me where you are. So you're right. A person calling in should wait until the dispatcher tells them to hang up. That's a very good point.
It's a very good point, and I hope everybody understands what importance it is. This is Roger Morgan. He's with Port Jervis Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and he's captain. He'd like to show us some things tonight from the ambulance. Roger, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we have here first is our hair traction splint. We use this for immobilizing fractures of the femur. They extend to a large femur or a short one. We also have the pediatric for small children. Expensive piece of equipment. We have one in each rig. We're in the process now of trying to get enough money up to get 2 more pediatrics to be our 2 ambulances. The next piece of equipment here, which we just got from Deer Park Lions, donated, is an anti-shock pants. And the purpose of these is multiple trauma and injury, or where the blood pressure is real low. You apply these to the person, you would pump them up. And the object of it is to keep the blood pressure up to support them until you get to the emergency room. Over here is our basic first aid kit we carry on the scenes. Has our dressings. We have there's sugar and glucose for diabetic emergencies. We have our blood pressure cuffs, stethoscope, scissors, cravats, Prolex. Moving down here, we have the 3 different size collars we use. Your small pediatric, your medium-sized adult, and your large adult. You're immobilizing the cervical area of the neck. Up here, this is what we call an orthopedic stretcher. It comes apart in 2 pieces. So if you have someone that's fallen or is in bed and you don't want to move around too much, take it apart. It has like a scissor type effect. Scoop under them. It limits your movement of the patient. Here we have the two long boards. This is the child, or for a small adult. This is the large spine board. This is for, you can use it for water rescue, CPR, auto extrication. Also helps with moving people down steps, things like that. Okay, on the bottom shelf here we have the, what we call a resuscitator. It can be used for CPR, administering oxygen during CPR, or it can be just what they call an inhalator, which you can apply oxygen as a person has in some type of difficulty in breathing. On the next shelf up here, we have 9 and 12 foot straps, which I showed outside we use on the spine boards to strap people down in case we have to take them down a flight of stairs, whatever. This here, and we call it a head immobilizer, which is Velcro to the long spine board. It immobilizes the head from rocking back and forth in case of cervical injury. Top shelf is just more collars. Okay, over here is what we call the action wall. We have our control centers we have exhaust fans, the different for dimming of the lights. This we have electric suction in case somebody aspirates, which they vomit or anything. We also have here with electronic oxygen. Flip of the switch, there's no more of the reaching in, turn the tanks on, it's all controlled electrically. If you want to put a person on just straight oxygen, you set your mask or your nasal ear, set it for which leader flow you'd like. Or in worse situations where you have to do CPR, you have the man head while you're doing the ventilations. We have our airways for doing the CPR on your patients. On the upper shelves, we have all our oxygen masks, nasals, other plastic bags. We have incontinent pads. We have our OB kits. We also, on this side, we have the sterile water. We have burn kits, in case you have anybody who's been burned chemically or any other way. Down further, we have our extra linen, in case you have more than one person. We have towels, blankets, extra pillows. For that, we have our splints for fractures, ice packs, surgical gloves, rubber gloves for your patients. Down here we have more dressings, Curlex, tape, and other dressings that you would need.
Say you had?
Currently we have 3. Our oldest ambulance is a 1985. And the newest one being a 1988. We have 2 modular ambulances and a van, which keeps us quite busy. The call volume has steadily increased over the last several years to where we're doing anywhere between 100 and 130 calls a month, which adds up to where I think we're going to go over 1,500 calls this year.
It's a lot of calls.
Sometimes we're on the road, yes, from 3 to 6 calls a day. There'll be days when there's nothing, and that's great. And there are times when you'll have back-to-back calls. We stay very busy.
Mutual aid, you also go out to fires, correct?
Yes, mutual aid calls, we go to Greenville. We respond, basically to a mutual aid call, we respond anywhere we're requested to go. Having 3 ambulances, we are flexible as to that where we're not tying up a duty rig, a first call ambulance on a long mutual aid. The problem over the past few years has been getting people to volunteer their time. It takes a lot of time training, and it is something that it takes a lot of time once you get involved with to volunteer, and it takes a special person to be able to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go 15 miles in the pouring down rain or the snow to help someone. Not a lot of people want to get involved with that, and we're very fortunate that we have a lot of great people that do, and we have a good supportive community also.
And have you used all 3 ambulances at one time?
And unfortunately, we have used them. There have been nights when we've had 3 ambulance calls back to back and had them all out on the road, all at one time. One day last winter, there were 3 very serious accidents, and we had all 3 ambulances out in one of the worst snow and ice storms that we had. and we ran the gamut from Pennsylvania to Sparrowbush, and the other was in Greenville, all at the same time, on 84 onto the Overlook. So we were fortunate. A few years ago, we put an addition onto the ambulance building where we have 3 bays. At that time, we really didn't think we were going to need to have 3 ambulances on the road all the time. We had a backup ambulance that we used. We got involved through the generosity of the local VFWs with a transport system for their vets to go to Castle Point. So we built that 3rd bay on and housed an ambulance there, primarily for that reason.
That's great.
And it got so busy that now we have 3 ambulances online full-time. We no longer have the backup ambulance just for the transports. We still continue to provide that service if they need us. They
Well, I
get a
think
hold of
I've
us.
heard the ambulances, all 3 of them go out at different times or around the same time, and then the 4th call would come in.
Yes.
Or you'd have to go on mutual aid to another ambulance corps and help them.
Right, you either call and get help from another ambulance corps, or hopefully the first call has been cleared about the time the 4th call comes in, so that you can just go back to back and get out there. Different times of the day, it's a little bit hard to get a crew out as fast as we'd all like to at times. We have, everyone works, everyone's full-time. We're very fortunate that some of the employers in Port Jervis allow the people to leave work so they can take these ambulance calls, and one of them being Colmar. And we're very fortunate. Colmar, for a number of years, has let 1 or 2 people out during work on the clock, which is very unusual and unselfish, to answer calls for the ambulance corps.
I see that more and more every day.
So we're very, very fortunate that we have some businesses that cooperate for the general good of the public,
That's correct.
because people don't get sick at scheduled times. Some of the local ambulance corps, the area ambulance corps, I should say, have had trouble with funding, but the major trouble is with volunteers getting people to run. And they've been forced to limit the time that they can cover, going on a schedule like 8 to 5 in the afternoon, or 8 at night to 5 in the morning, because all their crews work during the day.
That's correct.
Luckily, that hasn't happened to us. We maintain coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. And we've been very fortunate to get the people concerned to come out and run calls.
What type of equipment do you have on an ambulance? Is it just bandages, or
Well,
you can go into it a little bit more?
yes, we have, we're a BLS service, which is basic life support, versus an ALS service, which is advanced life support, and that's a paramedics and something you'd see. There's 1 paramedic service on this side of the county, 2 all overall. But basic life support is just that. We have from the basic stuff from bandages and cravats to stop bleeding and splints, to backboards, cervical collars for back injuries. We have specialized extrication equipment. They're called KEDs, which is something for your back and neck. They're fairly specialized, and the common denominator is most of the emergency services equipment is expensive. We have recently had donated to our Corps a pair of mass trousers, which is used for trauma. They're a very specialized piece of equipment that EMTs can use. An EMT, by the way, is an emergency medical technician, and that takes, to be qualified or certified as an EMT, it takes about 110 hours of training.
It's long hours.
Yeah, it's 110 hours of the book work, and included in that, on top of that, is about 16 hours in an emergency room where you have to do time as observing and watching what goes on in an emergency room.
You
see
take
the other
blood
end.
pressures and everything too in there, don't
Inside,
you?
yes, you can take blood pressures and vital signs, pulses, monitor respirations, and it's really a learning tool, because you get to see what happens to the people after you get them to the emergency room. Some of us who work both on the ambulance and part-time in different emergency rooms know that, but normally a volunteer who runs as a volunteer doesn't see what happens in the hospital.
Right.
These mass trousers were donated by the Deer Park Lions,
Deer Park Lions?
and the piece of equipment was very expensive. They cost about $500. So our ultimate goal is to have one on every ambulance. Right now we have it on the ambulance that responds mostly to car accidents. Something where car accidents, or someone would fall off the hawk's nest, which has happened several times. This is used for trauma. It's a life-saving piece of equipment. We're very grateful to have it. I hope we never have to use it.
I hope you don't either.
But we have it, and it's available. We also carry oxygen, short boards, long boards, suction equipment. We're equipped to handle almost anything that comes down the road. We have a lot of medical calls, unfortunately, heart attacks, breathing difficulties, this time of year, asthmatics. So you really never know what it is you're going to experience. We experience the gamut of calls from a normal transport from someone not feeling well to major trauma with severe injuries.
Jerry, how many EMTs do you have for members right now?
We have, I would say, off the top of my head, maybe 12, 13 EMTs.
That's great.
We have several advanced first aiders. Everyone is certified in CPR. And right now, running calls, we have about 20 people. There's several more that are very active in other areas of fund drives, any social events that we have, the bucket brigades and stuff like that, because everyone's schedule is not as flexible as it used to be.
Right.
There's a lot of people, 2 people working in the house now. Used to be one or the other. A lot of moms didn't have to work, wives didn't have to work. Now everybody's working.
Everybody's working.
So it's tough to contribute the time.
So they don't have to ride on the ambulance to help out. They can have other things they can do.
Right, you could get interested in taking classes. What we would like to see, a lot of people think that riding on the ambulance is just, oh, I don't think I could take that. It's too bad. But the very few of the calls are the very bad, traumatizing kind of calls. Most of our calls are out helping people who are sick, elderly people who have to go to the hospital and have no other way to get there. So you're helping people. You're helping people 100% of the time, but 90% of it is not the quote, blood and guts, where everybody says, I don't think I could take that. Your satisfaction comes from helping the sick and injured and bringing them to the hospital. We also have the fund drive every year, which people can get involved in, and it's just really a rewarding type thing to help people, get them to the hospital, know that you made the difference between them either being sick for a long period of time, not recovering well or at all. First aid is that difference, being able to reduce the time they're in the hospital by properly doing something in the field to lessen their pain, lessen the severity of their injuries.
And they know there's somebody there to help them, and they feel a little bit better.
Exactly. First aid can start with just calming the patient and being reassured in your actions. It has a first aid, it has a soothing effect on the patient, staying calm.
What's the money used for the fund drive? Is it only for equipment?
The money is used for total operation. It's our total major source of income. Like I said earlier, we have no other funding from state or local government. The money's put into an account and we run. Unfortunately, the volunteer services are faced with the same bills that everybody else is. It's extremely expensive with insurance and utility bills and just the maintenance and upkeep of the ambulances to keep those 3 ambulances on the road. They're not the most fuel efficient things in the world. If we get 6 to 7 miles per gallon on the ambulance, we're doing very well. So just the gas expense every month to put in the vehicles adds up. The utility bills adds up. So that money is used just to maintain operations for the ambulance. It's also used to put into a fund to generate money down the road to replace the ambulances. Unfortunately, they don't last forever either. The 1985 ambulance will have to be looked at replacing or upgrading in the next couple years. So it's a continual expense. Every day we get the mail in, it reminds me of what the expense is, because that's not including anything that breaks on the ambulances. Major repairs, which we've had a few of those this year already.
Yeah, you don't have them on schedule where it's going to break down next year.
Exactly.
You've got to get a flat tire or whatever.
Exactly. And we have the utility bills, and we are tax exempt. That helps a great deal. but we still have to pay the gas and the oil and the upkeep of the ambulances.
In the building, correct?
The building, we have expenses on the building too. Our number one expense is insurance. It's very expensive. That's what a lot of the littler, I shouldn't say littler, but younger corps or corps that don't have the money are faced with problems of the insurance. That's the major portion of our operating expense is the insurance to keep the ambulances on the road so we can continue to provide. We do not get paid for our services. It's strictly donations, of which we're very grateful to receive. That money goes right into an account, so it enables us to continue providing the service.
What kind of equipment do you need? Is there any new equipment that you're looking to buy?
The equipment we're looking for, I mentioned, was the mass trousers. We have one set that was donated, and we're looking, you know, I don't know what the time frame would be. We have one, I'm very grateful for that, but I'd like to have one on each ambulance so that I don't have to worry about which one was taken. Now you have to make sure you get that pair if we're going out to an accident. So that's a longer term. I'd like to see down the road that we have that available. We went through this similar with a piece of equipment called a hair traction splint. Prior to a few years ago, we didn't have hair tractions. We had one. We accumulated to where we have two on every ambulance now, both an adult and a pediatric. And just like the mass trousers, I hope we don't ever have to use this equipment.
Right.
Unfortunately, this hair traction we've used several times, and it is invaluable to providing the treatment for a broken femur to lessen the pain, and you can notice the difference almost immediately after you put it on someone. Again, that's a specialized piece of equipment. That's not something you just read in a book and go out and use.
You just can't go downtown to a store and buy something like that.
No, you'd have to go to a hospital supply or an ambulance supply, and a hair traction splint's over $200 also. So just in those six pieces, I have $1,200 invested. The ambulance corps has $1,200 invested in just 6 pieces of equipment. So the price of keeping in business, of running a volunteer ambulance corps is expensive. That's why we stress when we bring in new members, maintaining the equipment, keeping it up to date so that it lasts a long time.
Well, you have a lot of more things on your logs and everything you've got to put down too for the state.
Yes, recently we went to PCRs, which is a hospital, pre-hospital report, to where it's got 5 carbon copies. It's very explicit, tells you everything that you've done to the patient, for the patient, and it's a way a state has of checking the quality assurance of what the patients receive in New York State. Most of every other state also has them, and it's working out very well. It's a very helpful tool, and it's a legal document that goes right on a patient's hospital report. So you have to be very thorough and very efficient to cover all the bases and to provide 100% service.
How many patients can you put in one ambulance at a time?
Well, that depends on the severity of their injuries. If a patient is extremely critical, then there's only one going in. So it's very important when you pull up to a scene of, say, a car accident, to figure out how many people you have and what the severity of their injuries are. If there's 3 patients and they're just bumps and bruises, then you can put 3 in the ambulance. You could lay one on the cot, one on the bench, and prior to, we have 3 ambulances, 2 of them of which you can transport sitting. New York State now, ambulances manufactured after a certain date, you can no longer carry them in a chair stretcher. So that ambulance, we can only carry 2. The other 2, we can carry 3. But again, if it's a serious injury, you want all your attention on this one patient.
Right.
So if there were 3 involved and you had a serious injury, you'd call for a second ambulance right away.
Or a third.
Or a
whatever.
third, exactly. To get those people taken care of so you can get the one that you think is most critical to the hospital in a safe manner.
How old do you have to be in the ambulance corps?
Well, the ambulance, to run, you can join the ambulance corps at 15 and run. We have younger members. There's several rules and regulations that apply to them. They can only run certain hours. When you're 18 years old, you're considered an adult, senior member, and you can run 24 hours, the more the better then. We'd like to have as many new people in as possible.
The younger ones help you out a lot?
Oh, yes,
Over there?
we have some very good junior corps members who start out young and work them along as we go.
Do they have to have a first aid card or an EMT card?
Well, an EMT is something that takes a long time. The rules for the ambulance, we get everyone involved in at least a standard first aid class and a CPR class. That's a must. And then at the next available time for advanced first aid, which is taught, is a Red Cross course, and the advanced first aid is 52 hours. They must take that course. It's hard to schedule your time with the availability of classes, and that's a problem. Just
Right.
like getting people who are willing to take the class in that time. It's tough these days.
Right, it sure is. With the junior corps, they have to ride with a senior member, and
Right, right.
the senior
There's-
member is the one that's responsible for them?
Exactly. We start them out with taking vitals, something that wouldn't be a critical call. So it's a learning experience for them, and something that we can bring them along and have them interested in a long period of time. It's good. The younger they are, the better as far as first aid is concerned. As a matter of fact, the Red Cross just revamped their guidelines, and there's no longer an age requirement to take CPR or standard first aid. If you're able to read the material and understand it and comprehend it enough to take the test, and you can perform the manual skills, then you can be certified in CPR and
That's
standard
great.
first aid.
That's great.
They find that some of the younger people are doing much better than they had originally thought. So it's taught in school now. It used to be at 16, I believe it's 14 and 16 years old. Now, as long as you can comprehend the material and perform the skills, you can be certified, as long as you pass.
That's great. Where does a person go to volunteer for a first aid card or an EMT course? Do they go to the ambulance building, or?
Well, we have several instructors from the ambulance that teach Red Cross first aid and CPR, which you can contact the ambulance corps or Beth Spar, who is the director of the Port Pike chapter at the health center. You can contact her there and inquire about a first aid class, the availability of whatever class you're interested in.
Right.
We're recently recertifying the standards for standard first aid and CPR. We just went to Pennsylvania to recertify our instructors, which we've successfully completed. So once this fund drive gets kicked off, and it's very time-consuming and busy there, we'll try to get some programs announced. And we try to announce it in the paper and over the radio also.
Right. There's probably a lot of people that would like to take the course, just for their
We'd
own,
be glad to hear from them.
for their own self. Is the course, that CPR course is included, isn't it, with first aid, or can you just take a CPR course by yourself?
We always, you can take CPR by yourself, by itself, I should
Right.
say. There's several kinds of CPR that can be taught now. The standard first aid, the new standard first aid, is 8 hours. They've condensed it from 21 hours to just 8 hours, half of which, 4 hours, is CPR. So if you wanted to take a standard first aid class, you'd have to take both, and you have to successfully complete both, and then you get 2 cards. You're certified in both standard and CPR. On the other side of the coin, if you were just interested in CPR, then you can just take that without taking the first aid.
There's a lot of businesses, I imagine, and, workplaces
And
probably make you
right,
have a card for their own protection, too.
a
and
lot
themselves.
of them, they're training people in the plants. It's a direct reflection on caring for their employees, but also their insurance really helps if they have people that are qualified to take care of emergencies before EMS arrives, before the ambulance gets there.
Is there a fee to take a course?
The only fee involved is materials in the book, which we haven't come up with the new guidelines yet because they have revamped the books. We haven't had access to them yet, and it's a minimal fee compared to the material and the knowledge that you get.
How much is the associate memberships?
The associate memberships is $10, and with a reduced rate discounted for the senior citizens, and that's right on the letter. So that they just have to check the box and send the appropriate money that they want to send.
If they want to give anything extra,
I was just gonna say, they can certainly give more money if they.
a lot more, right,
Yeah.
if they have it.
All your donations are gratefully accepted and will be put to good use.
Where can they mail in their generous checks for membership?
We have a P.O. box. It's P.O. Box 133, Port Jervis, New York. Or you could drop it off at the ambulance building if there was someone there. Yeah, either one.
Or any member?
Or call me at home, yes.
Anybody will
I'd be
take it,
glad,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure that it gets in the treasurer's hands.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jerry?
No, I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to talk to the people. Again, and have the people aware of the importance of the service we provide. We're out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have a lot of dedicated people, and in the past, the people in the tri-state area here have been very generous to the ambulance, and we would ask that generosity continue so that we can continue to upgrade our training and our service to the people.
Okay. Jerry, I'd like to thank you for coming down, and hope everyone out there sees this and will help you out, the Port Jervis Ambulance Corps.
Thank you very much. I was very excited to come down and have a chance to talk to you.
It was nice talking to you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Remember, all you folks, all these people are volunteers and they need your donation. Remember, they save lives. This is Kathy Kaufman with Access 8. Thank you for watching, and good night. What are some of these plaques, Roger?
Some of the plaques, the one right behind you here was for 5 years of safety. The state awarded us this. We haven't had past 5 years no accidents or injuries to any of the Corps members. Other plaque have been donated from Pop Warner for servicing for them. This is from the city, tri-state area, for outstanding volunteerism of the people. Also just from, we got for parade invitations, sometimes we get them. This was from town of Minnesink. We went over, we sent them 2 ambulances for standby. Those are there for Pike County days. And the room itself was, we thank Mercy Community Hospital was donated by the material and the money.
Most everything was donated.
All the furniture, everything has been donated by either Corps members or past Corps members.
I take it that they stay down here quite a bit, so they don't have to.
Yeah, we're down here.
Out of town.
We're down here most of the time, at night and stuff. We spend most of the time here.
Do most of the members live out of town, or?
Most of the people live right in town, because it's one of the things you must live in within 5 minutes response time, which is approximately 5-6 miles maximum out of city limits.
So if somebody wanted to join from Cutterbeckville, they would stay down here and
Right. Just,
have
they
all the
can set up
comforts
their
of home.
time. Right, they can set up their time, which they like to run.
Right there, you got an apartment door over.
We work our schedules around whatever they're available for. We can schedule for what they like. They can stay down here for as long as they want, whatever.
Very good. Roger, I want to thank you for letting us come down tonight.
Okay, I want to thank Kathy and Tom for doing this. Hopefully I see people out donating for us in our fund drive. Also, we're going to be starting our bucket brigade. You'll see us down here at 6 and 23. So, thank you very much.
I want to thank Floyd Morgan for holding the light for Tom. He wouldn't get in the camera. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
We'd like to thank the following: Jerry Oney, Roger Morgan, Floyd Morgan. The officers of the Ambulance Corps: President is Jerry Oney, Vice President Dennis Livingston, Secretary Tammy Oney. Treasurer Pat Livingston, Captain Roger Morgan, First Lieutenant Charlie Romer. Second Lieutenant Jimmy Fuller. Your contributions may be sent to the Port Jervis Volunteer Ambulance Corps, P.O. Box 133, Port Jervis, New York 12771. Again, that's Port Jervis Volunteer Ambulance Corps, P.O. Box 133, Port Jervis, New York 12771. To request an ambulance, dial 856-5101, or in the Matamoros, Westfall, Mill Rift area, dial 296-7700. That's 856-5101 or 296-7700.
This has been a Tomcat production.